Good morning, everybody. It's Marty, the JavaScript party, and my buddy Rhett. I already gave her nut in our last video. I think I was at like 48 minutes. I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm gonna wrap this up, blah blah blah. And then but I just absolutely knew I was gonna get caught up in a rabbit hole. And the rabbit hole is like, how do you create a list from a set of types, interfaces? Like interface type things. Like the and so, like, I have this layout types, but I want to make it a list, and that is a pattern that you have to do over and over again all the time. And anyway, so that is at the top of my brain at the moment. I think the idea is that you could create another set of constants, and because types don't exist in real time, and it's always good in your brain to be able to kind of separate that. But constants do exist at runtime, and so maybe I like keeping all that stuff separate. So maybe it makes a lot of sense to have a constants as well. That could be over engineering. In most cases, that probably is over engineering. This space and time application is not going to be it's not going to be over engineering for that situation because there's a lot of complexity in there that needs to be abstracted away. But anyway, so now we're going to change gears and we're going to flashcards. Flashcards is in such a great place. I love where that project is right now because let's see, let's just validate my brain. Brain validation successful. Yep, yesterday flashcard is after say hello, so that means I worked yesterday. I must have worked say hello. So this morning I worked space and time. Last night I worked on my media system. What a shit show that is. Then say hello, and then flashcards. So now flashcards is up, and flashcards is awesome, awesome. I don't know. I don't know what we did. Let's save it. Um, I find myself in that situation all where I'm leaving. It's like, do you want to save your changes? And I'm like, what are my changes? Um, anyway, so here we go. Results component goes here. So we want to create this as a separate component. I'm waiting for the terminal to come up, that listens to what's going on in the recognition. So the user can use this little app toggle recognition component to actually kick off the recording, but there's nothing you can do. I think we've got it to where you can also stop the recording process. Things get really weird because recording is outside of or voice recognition and all that is completely outside of the browser. So it actually makes a call to a third party. And see, if you're using Edge, then the third party is Microsoft. If you're using Chrome, then the third party is Google. And you do get different results. You get the same format back, but you get different results. But it's like the same format, but like I think there's some things that Microsoft just sort of ignores completely and they don't really participate in. So you always just get like an empty array back. And then there's some things that Google just sort of completely ignores. So it is the same format, but the expected data can be sometimes in different places. And then there's some data that like Microsoft just doesn't do. And then I'm assuming it's probably the same way the other way around too. Anyway, so we want to create our results component because basically what we're trying to do is and this wasn't the goal when I started. Oh, okay. So now it's up. So let me go to flashcard builders. This is where I always forget what the heck I'm talking about too, because it's like npm start. Because like you kind of have to stop whatever you're doing when the system is up. You kind of have to keep half an eye on what's going on, and then as soon as it's ready, you got to stop, and then when you come back, it's like, oh, what was I talking about? Um, but anyway, so the way the information is going to work is going to be different, and I think that for flashcards, the way Microsoft does it is better for me than the way Google does it. And I don't want really at this point. Let's not um, dig into that. But the thing I do want to dig into is just that this thing actually still works properly. Um, yeah. All right. So hit that. Now it's going to allow it this time. So I'm going to allow this time. And now it's recording. The microphone is on. This thing's going. Information is being sent to Microsoft right now. No, to Google right now. And then it's going to come back um, from Google and we're just ignoring it all. I don't even think we're putting it in the console log yet. I think we do have stuff. Oh, we have a. Oh, that's funny. Okay, yeah, this is an error because the route that was in the last one doesn't exist. Yeah, so we aren't like kicking back any of the results or anything. Um, so I guess that we do have two parallel things to work on. One would be, do we want to work on the component and the component listening, or do we want to work on the service and the service sort of announcing what has happened? So let's work on the service. I think last week I said I'm gonna work on the component, and now this week I'm like, I'd rather work on the service, which is fine because it's my project. My project. I'm the boss. All right, so here we are on audio. And so when you construct this, you create this recognition object. And then we set one of the variables continuous to true. Um, and then we have an audio start, an audio end, and an on error. Now, I believe there's an event for results, and I don't know exactly what that is. Now, I think I could turn this off, right? And it turned it off. Okay, so that piece is working beautifully. As soon as I get the results we're done, then I think we're done with this um, feature. I mean, well, I think we're not doing unit tests, but we are doing end-to-end tests. So then I'll probably see what I can do with end-to-end tests. I know end-to-end tests are going to be a little trickier in this because there can't be like true end-to-end tests. They have to be like sort of hybrid manual end-to-end tests because an actual user, human being, actually has to select yes, turn the, at least the way I understand this technology. Somebody's going to have to be able to click that button. Cypress won't be able to click that button, the button that when we said this time only, or always or whatever. Like that's going to have to get clicked, and I think a person's going to have to click it. Um, so, anyways, what we're going to do, and we're probably going to have to do some little tweaking so that Cypress knows when you've clicked it. So maybe some sort of callback that does something, and if you do it within 60 seconds, you get it. It moves through on the next tests, but I don't know exactly what is possible and what's not possible. Um, and that is typical. That is very, very typical, not knowing what's possible. And that is probably like everyone thinks the skill to code, which is insanely rare, right? It's like it's not just that it's rare. Like some people just can't do it, no matter how hard they try, no matter how driven they get, they just can't do it. But that's probably not true for most people. Most people probably can do it. It's just that like some people can do it better than other people. It's just like dunking a basketball. There's some people that probably 80% of human beings could, with enough time, dunk a basketball. A tough, like perfect conditioning, perfect everything, they could get to it. But some people, you just don't have to put a lot of effort into it to learn how, and some people they have to. So it's the same thing with coding, right? How much you can do it is going to vary from person to person. Um, but once you've sort of jumped that situation, once you've figured out, oh, okay, um, I can code, then it's like, okay, so what is possible, what's not possible is probably the next most difficult thing. And the sad thing is, a lot of times, like you'll get like a really bright programmer, and then you'll say, "Oh, look, all we have to do is show him this, and he figured it right out." But he or she, they couldn't figure it out until we showed them this. And then for some reason on the back end or on that side, they go, "Oh, so if we just tell anyone how to do this, they'll be able to do it." It's like, no, they're different. You have to first figure out, can they code, and do they enjoy coding, and will they code? Are they tolerant to coding? There's certain behaviors that you have to do when you code that a lot of people aren't tolerant of. All right, so we're going to go to ChatGPT. I think the thing you really have to worry about with ChatGPT here in March 8th of 2026 in Marietta, Georgia, when it's 64 degrees out and lightly raining, and absolutely beautiful outside, you have to worry about ChatGPT confusing the crap out of you when you try to talk to it. So, um, so I have code like this for voice. Okay, so I am working on voice API, my voice API project. And um, I have code. And this is an example of code. Oh, that's right. I wanted to put all. Okay. So the code that is going to emit the signal to understand, to listen, that code is got to be in this service. I can't. It doesn't make sense to put that in. It's possible, but it's not. Doesn't make sense to me to put that in the component. So the thing that announces results should go in here, but anything that parses into that result to figure out what's going on, at least for now, I want to put in the component itself. Um, I don't know. That's just my gut. My gut tells me I'm on 50-50. I can kind of see maybe wanting to reuse some of that stuff in other components, so maybe I won't want to do it in the long run. But for now, I think all of the deep down digging into the results and doing stuff, all of that, like very highly detailed, highly specific, highly unstable because the API is unstable. All of that stuff, I want to bury into the component at this point. I could definitely see me saying that was a mistake. So I will probably put it in a service and a not for root service, a service that's for the actual component, and it's a one service per component thing. There's only one component, but because I don't see any reason to ever have more than one component. Maybe in the future it might make sense, but for now, I could kind of see it. Like if you were like, oh, I want to work on something, and I'm looking at like 10 different color schemes. And so when I say something, I want the 10 different color schemes to present something, but in the 10 different color schemes, so 10 different components or whatever, one component per color scheme, and they're all listening or whatever. Um, I guess that's possible, but right now I don't want to do anything even vaguely like that. So uh, like this, yeah, that code, that code is in my constructor um, of my service. Um, um, would like to, um, I would like to, is there, is there something like, I guess it's an event like on audio start for results returning. So these results, they actually do, like this won't work offline. Like if you are like, if you can't get a signal to the cloud, this whole thing won't work because it has to send information to Microsoft or Google, depending on which browser you're using. Um, it has to send that, and then it takes the recording or whatever the heck it gets, whatever that blob of information it gets, and it turns it into words. So, that's like a little detail that like I did not know. Like when I first decided to go down this journey of voice API, my vision had been that I have like an old phone that doesn't have any connectivity at all, and that I would use it as a way to keep track of my tips because I was delivering pizzas. And basically, I found out that no, that's not going to work. It's not feasible because that device has to be connected to the cloud. So this is cloud specific technology. So let's see if it gives me words. See, I think it's having a hard time because I said because I gave it. So I think the training is working. It seems like event hooks. I like that. See, yes, in the web speech which your recognition is likely using. So that is correct. There are several events you can hook into depending on what you want. See, that is actually all useful information. And I don't think there's anything that could be conceived of as a lie in there. And honestly, like the things they're saying doesn't necessarily have to be considered a lie if they would just qualify it as like, okay, I'm not sure about this, or it's commonly believed, or whatever. But just the fact that they just state it as a fact. Fires starts capturing audio. What you want is on result. Woo, woo, woo. This is beautiful. And then this is actually very useful. Like, why is it after I chewed its ass out for basically being a filthy liar, it like decided to start giving me really good stuff. I guess don't ask, don't get. That's what they say. That's what they say. All right. Now it's kind of weird because I don't think this is possible. Maybe. Maybe it is possible. Yeah. All right. So my gosh, should my ID does not recognize. That's kind of weird. Every single time I'm getting that error now. Okay, so target build, use the built-in type if available. Okay, so that immediately tells me it's probably not available. So somewhere they probably have one. Somebody has one, but it's probably not available. Use any. Yeah, that's probably what I'll end up doing. Now we did go through on that voice application, we went through this, like spent like a whole month trying to figure out typing. We ended up with any. So I don't want to go again. And so here's where it wants to declare these types. And this we did start down this path a little bit. Then it dawned on me if they change anything, like all of this ends up not if when they change it, all of this stuff will become absolutely useless. Actually, worse than useless. So I don't want that. Now result from so it wants to map this result. But see, it's like upset because it's saying result. We don't know what the hell result is. So I'm going to go here. I'm assuming I'm going to hate this code. Okay, so basically, I don't like doing this in general, but in this specific circumstance, it makes sense because nobody knows how that's going to. Right now, well, not as we speak because it is Sunday, but um, as over the next weeks and all that, there are people bitterly fighting, I think, because I did think at first I thought this whole API was just like in mothballs and just it was there, but you could use it, but no, it is actively being maintained. It looks like we did a little bit of I remember we did a little bit of inspection and we found some code that of it, like the people who are building and maintaining it, and we sort of wanted to look at their comments because they have a lot of good comments in there. And we took the comments and we pasted into AI to figure out where they likely live because their names and all that are unknown. But where they likely live, and it said they probably all live in Seattle, the people that are doing that. So, anyways, let's see what we get here in our flashcard builder. Whoop, whoop. Flashcard builder, cha cha cha. Hello. Oh no. Oh, here we go. Recognized. You better recognize. I'll turn it off. Oh, here we go. That's cool. Recognized text. Flashcard builder. Cha cha cha. LU. I don't know. I don't know. Better recognize. I don't know. So anyway, so these are the results that we're getting back. They look good. They look good. So we want to create a signal now. And this is voice recognition. Voice recognition text signal, right? So we have this voice state enumeration. So basically, it's just going to send us a string every time it gets one of those. So I'm going to name this thing voice recognition result signal. Love that name. Love it. Loves it. Writable signal. And as far as I know, this is probably like it's one of those things like this is what I think is right, and it's probably wrong. But I have to go with what I think is right at the moment, even though I know it's probably wrong. And then signal, this thing here, is a function, and it creates a writable signal. No idea why they wouldn't just call it writable signal, but they didn't. And this is where we say what this signal sends, and then this is what we call. And just to be clear, and this is the first value. And just to be clear, so it's an empty string. That's going to be the very first thing. Just to be very, very clear here, um, signal is a function that we call, and it will create this stuff. And I don't know, none of this stuff, or no, just to be clear here, this is TypeScript only. Has nothing to do with the actual application. I mean, with JavaScript. So like this is this is only here so that and it doesn't even, this is only here so that the human being can easily look at this signal and say, oh, okay, this is going to return a string, and then this one is only here so that the TypeScript can say, wait a second, you're trying to send a string. Actually, both of them are. So like if I try to do this, I get an error because it's like you said it was a string. Now I could say or a number, and now it's upset over here because it's like, well, this thing's only allowed to and number. So now it's fine because I could send a string or a number. Um, that is one of the things I really, really like about that. Okay, so now we want to do we want to set this value every time. We want it to signal every time, every time. Now, I don't like this. I don't like the from results, transcript, join. I feel like it's harder to do this like with these operators. I just find that to be harder, but I don't know. For some reason, those things just don't stick in my head. And I don't know exactly what all it does. And I don't know, like, see, it's only going to take the first result. If there's more than one result, I probably want the other results too at this point in time. So actually, I think I want result back. And I think a result is an array of strings. So I told you right off the bat, this is probably wrong. And instead of that, we're sending an empty string, an empty array. And I don't know why that's a problem. Oh, there we go. All right, so we're creating a signal. We're telling the signal application, the function that, hey, can you mint me a little signal? Whatever that means. I don't know what that means. And can you please make sure that it only returns strings? And then it does arrays of strings, and then it does something. And then this is like, hey, I want this object, and it has to be a writable signal. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah, that looks good, brah, that looks good. And then it's like, and make sure it only returns strings. And it's like, okay, yeah, no, we are all good. We are all good in the neighborhood. Now down here, what I'm hoping is that okay, so I think I can just comment these two lines up. Oop, wrong button. Use the wrong button. Signal transcript. I just love coding. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it's completely obvious. Transcript as string. Let's get rid of that. So this is like I added this as string to say, hey, you know what? I know you don't know. I know, I know, I know you don't know what results is, but I'm gonna tell you, and you can go. You can trust me. I wouldn't lie to you. Unlike ChatGPT, I would not lie to you. Now, for some reason, over here it's saying that it expected 0 arguments. Oh, that's right. Silly rabbit, running down the rabbit hole. All right, so let's see if that's a little better. So I think what's going to happen, this is going to be the very first thing. I think Google always returns a single item in continuous. I think, and then I think that Microsoft returns a array of them, or maybe it's the other way around. And I know that one of them returns all of the punctuation and capitalization and stuff like that, even when it doesn't need it. Even if it's just a single word, it'll capitalize and put a period, which is weird. Um, like you would have thought if they're going to put all that work into capitalization and commas and all that stuff that they would have said, is this a sentence? If it's a sentence, then we'll add punctuation. But if not, we won't. Like that's not, it doesn't seem, I can't tell you how many times I've said this and been completely wrong, but it doesn't seem like it should be that hard. Um, it just doesn't seem like it should be that hard. Okay, so that is a blah. So it doesn't return an array of strings. It returns this. Returns an array of speech results. And then inside of that, it has a speech alternative. Okay, so I don't like it. Don't like it at all. But I do feel like the this complexity that we've just kind of stumbled into, this complexity is exactly what I want to handle at the component level, not at this level. The component, all the component cares about is this actual text here. And actually, I want to try this in Edge. Let's try this in Edge. It's crazy how much this sort of tells you about yourself. Um, like for the most part, I only want to use this for, let's do this. Let's make that here all. And then let's do F12. What? Open dot. And then I want this docked at the bottom instead of, I feel like the bottom will look a little better. And then we want the console. And so we have our speech recognition. Hello, how are you? So unfortunately, apparently I at some point told it to always open on localhost. Don't know. But see this, like, yeah, see how this one gave me two, okay, no, that's right. But see, okay, so the main difference, I guess, at this point is, see, we have this transcript. Okay, did we get the transcript over here too? Oh yeah, we have transcript. For some reason, that was basically we also have confidence, and that confidence doesn't exist over here. They don't even have it. So, so if it's Chrome, I'll probably want to use I want to at least render show the confidence. But if it's Edge, there is no confidence. So, anyway, so here we go, and then transcript. So that digging in and all that, but you did notice that this has like punctuation. Hello, comma, how are you? Whereas this one just seems like it doesn't. It doesn't do the punctuation. I could do it again. Let's come over here. Hello, how are you? Let's go F12. And so you notice that it's just hello, how are you with all lowercase and a confidence. So that's why I think Chrome will work, Edge will work better, but I couldn't quite remember exactly what the heck was the reasoning. But anyways, I feel like that is a good place to stop. We do have this um thing. We don't need, I guess we kind of want that. We definitely want that. This takes an array and it's not a string. Oh, so this will screw things up though, because um, it's going to make it really hard on the back end if we think it's an array of strings, but it isn't actually an array of strings. And I don't even know how that was working. I mean, I guess maybe that object must have like um, a two string event. Now you might wonder why we're using any array over just any, because any does cover arrays as well. But the thing is then we would have to tell it that it has array things like iterating and stuff like that, length and stuff like that. If it was just array, if it was just any, but if we say it's an array of some things, then at least we don't have to deal with that down the line. If I had left it as a string, which was incorrect because it's the speech, what is it? Speech recognition result, which unfortunately there's no official API that describes a speech recognition result. Looks like that's still up in the air. Um, then that's um, something. And see, this is final true means something too, and I can't really remember it. And I don't know if it works consistently between the browsers. But anyway, so that's that. So next week we will listen for our new signal, our new voice recognition results signal. I feel like once this thing is actually printing out the text the way I want it, this is a this is a branch. This is a branch that I want to keep as is because this is such a great starting spot for anybody who wants to work on like continuous voice recognition. This is a great spot to just start off because you can turn on the microwave, turn it off, it handles all that stuff, and it prints out the text. And if you want to do stuff based on the text that's being printed out, then you can. You can add other things, but it's such a great baseline thing. I'm very proud of myself. So anyways, let's hit this and let's go my README. I really like that. I'm not doing it at work yet. I need to. This is Flashcard Builder. And I think what I've started to do is add the next steps. Next, next steps. Boom, boom. Okay, the use the new voice result signal for um, to populate results. I would really like to understand like why ChatGPT does these You like from time to time, you just have to give it a smackdown. You have to just be like, dude, quit wasting my time. Quit putting so much word salad out there. Don't lie. Quit telling things that aren't even true. Um, Throwing all these words together actually means something. Like when you say, and by def or and as in TypeScript and as a result in Angular, like that's not true. Um, Anyways, have a wonderful weekend. If your time changed and you lost an hour, I hope you can get to bed early tonight, wake up early tomorrow, realize that tomorrow you're not going to be the only grumpy one. Everyone's going to be struggling with the lack of hours. It's dangerous. It really is. Like people literally die every year as a direct result of daylight savings. Car accidents. There will be a lot more car accidents tomorrow than there normally are, apparently. There's statistics that show that. And so if you do not have to drive into work, don't. Stay home, be kind. You might be saving someone's life by not driving into work, and that life might be your own or your loved ones or someone like that. So careful tomorrow. Do everything you can to keep yourself safe. It's a dangerous day. I love you all. Have a wonderful day. Bye. Happy coding.